Uncle Gil believe Jason Tatum and Celtics must win a title this season.
Should the East be worried about the Celtics?
What kind of question is that?
I mean, they are, right? You know, this team has been Tatum and Brown. Remember, they wanted to trade. You know, there was articles about getting rid of the two, breaking the two up, and they was only 23. I think people didn't realize that they were still so young and they have not hit their peaks yet. They're not even close to their peak. They're only 25 and 26. They still got 3-4 years before they're priming.
Thank you, Gil.
You have guys right now that are on a mission, right? They've already tasted success at a young age, and they're trying to get over that hump. So they are a real threat. Everyone else has tasted success. I mean, you know, Tatum is like, yo, I've been in the top 3 in MVP voting. I need to get over that hump, right? We need to get to the NBA Finals. We need to win one. So they're on a different mission. If they don't win one this year, in the next 2 years, they gonna have one.
Yeah. I mean, you look at what
they
did.
should.
They turned Marcus Smart and Robert.
I will say this, as optimistic as I am about this team, if we can't get one in the next 2 years, yeah, we gonna have some conversations. We gonna have some uncomfortable conversations. Is Jason Tatum really just Carmelo Anthony? You know? If there is one thing that really does need to happen this season, it is you winning money on Prize Picks, the sponsor of this video. Prize Picks is my personal favorite way to play daily fantasy sports. And the game is extremely simple. All you got to do is go on their website, download their app. They got a bunch of different sports up here, but because we're basketball heads, let's go ahead and stick to NBA. Got a bunch of different stats on the screen as well. Oh, this is actually new. They got popular picks that they recommend for you. So let's go ahead and do some of that. I don't know, maybe I'm hating, but I feel like this is a little bit too high for DFS. I'm going to go with the less on DFS. And then for James Harden, he's going to be back in Brooklyn. I don't know if this is actually his return, but I'm feeling a more on that one. I ain't going to lie. I'm going to put in $10 right there with the hopes to win $30. And all you got to do is hit place entry. And your entry has been submitted. And thanks to my friends over at Prize Picks, anyone who uses code SLZ will get up to $100 match on their first deposit. So if you put in 50, they'll give you 50. Now you got $100 to work with. That is once again code SLZ. Links will be in the description for that as well. And with that being said, back to the video.
And to Holiday and Porzingis. And with Malcolm Brogdon. And they got Holiday and Porzingis. And the thing is, they're deep. You know, we understand about their starting five, but their bench. They just come at you in waves, and so
we're not about to gas up this bench. That's what we're not gonna do. We're not about to gas up this Celtics bench like it's something crazy. Because I swear to God, bro, I called them the Three Stooges. That rotation, when all at once Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, and Luke Cornett all come into the game, I'm like, okay, it's an 11-point lead. It's gonna be 5. It's going to be 5 by the end of this. Okay.
Milwaukee's going to be a major player. I believe Dame and Giannis will only get better and better. Mm-hmm. But right now, I think it's the Celtics that are clearly the best team in the East. With Porzingis, Tatum, Holiday, Brown, and Derek White. Because this is the Derek White that we saw early in his...
Shout out to Derek White, man. Shout out to Derek White. Because I think, to me, the biggest reasons as to why we have won so many games this season is because, number one, of the pure talent that we got in that starting five, but number two, because of the fact that Tatum and Jaylen Brown do have consistency problems. When you got two dudes at any given night can play at an all-star level, in Derek White and in Kristaps Porzingis, we can live with those off nights, right? We can live with those off nights that Tatum and Brown, even last night, both of them had off nights, yet because Porzingis was balling, because Derek White was balling, on top of everyone else in the crew, hey, we did lose, but at the end of the day, with our two best players having stinky games, we still lost by 2. to the defending champions. So
his career in San Antonio, that everybody was saying, okay, man, this dude here, man. Because you remember that series he had against the Nuggets? I think it was the Nuggets.
Yeah.
And I think he was like a first or second year player, and he went off.
Yeah, I think he's found his niche now. I think, last year he was more of a defensive player, made hero plays, but I think now he's found his two-way in him. Last year's more of a, one-way guy, trying to on that defense. Now he's a two-way player. The reason I like Boston is they're so flexible in their lineups, right? Yes. They're always big, right? And,
no. Not Gil saying this. Not Gil saying this. For anyone who has been a regular on the streams, y'all remember that clip of Gilbert Arenas specifically going crazy on the Celtics because he believes the reason why we can't win a championship is because we play too small. And I think he said that after the Porzingis trade. So for him to say this is kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. I don't know if anyone remembers that clip that we watched on stream, but that's kind of crazy.
They can put a lineup out there, Tatum at the point, Jaylen Brown at the 2. They can put Porzingis at the 3, Al Horford at the 4, and Luke at the 5 if they wanted to, and be just a big lineup.
Right.
And force you to try to figure out how to match it. Right. And, Brown plays the 2, and he's just he sits in the pose, hit you with the midi because most 2s are small. So they have so many lineups that they can throw at you and still be like their small ball.
Wait, you watched the clip, M-Hubs?
Still has 6'10" and 6'11" in it, which is crazy.
Right.
So the fact that you gave up a 6'4" power forward for a 7'1" center, I don't know what they doing in Dallas. I don't know if anything is legal over there, but you had to be on it at the time you made this trade.
Well, for whatever reason, it seemed like Porzingis like, hey, I ain't getting no shots. Luka getting all the shots.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to play in the post. I want to play on the wing. And for the most part, they let him play wherever. Yeah, he could. I mean, because he's 7'1", 7'2", can shoot the 3, can put the ball on the floor, got a nice mid-range. But they're letting him play a style that's conducive for him being productive, as opposed to say, nah, you 7'1", get your butt down on the block. Because that's not what he is.
No, yeah, you're right. And, I know
get it off
Washington
of him. Get it off of him. Producer, get it off of him.
Which,
oh my God.
He was a great
Get it off of Shannon.
But, when you look at the overall, it's like Boston got him, right? And y'all got Greg. And that's technically the trade, no matter how that's the trade. And it's like you really did all this to get a 6'4" power forward. And I'm never giving up. I'm never giving up height for small.
Producer,
if I'm going to give up height, I'm giving height for height. Because you can't teach height.
No.
Right? I'm never going to trade. I'm never going to trade my big for
Cruz
a guard
could never,
unless my big has no talent and I can trick somebody to take it to get a high level player. But I'm not going to trade a talented big for some guard. That just sounds dumb.
Yeah, I mean, Porzingis, for whatever reason, I mean, he's been an all-star, but for whatever reason, he didn't catch on. I mean, I don't know, him and Luka, for whatever reason, it didn't work. And like you said, he went to Washington and then they moved on. But when you can turn Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams, and Marcus Smart into Holiday and Porzingis.
I think there's a degree where we kind of overthink the Celtics. And as much as I want to say, yeah, not too much because, he does need more time, which he does. I think all these conversations, all these concerns with the Celtics literally do not exist if number 0 is playing at that tier 1 level. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. Literally all these concerns. Are they the favorites? Could they beat the Bucks? Could they beat the Nuggets? Would not be a concern if number 0 was averaging 33, 9, and 5, shooting 52, 40, 85. We wouldn't be having these conversations. I'm sorry. At some point, It is that simple. It is that simple.
You won that trade.
You won that trade.
You won that trade. Because it doesn't look like Robert Williams is ever going to be the same since he tried to come back and play on that knee. He looks gimpy ever since. And so I don't know if you're ever going to get the Robert Williams pre-injury, because I thought he was a tremendous defensive player.
Yeah, what's so funny is we got to watch them Celtics, boy. They've been
some guys injured.
They've been trading some bad product. That product, IT hip.
Yep.
He good. Oh no, he look good. Stand up a little bit. Hey, look at him. Right.
Disagree with that. 3Z or I don't know how to pronounce her. I think they need some sort of veteran leadership on this team, and if they're gonna trade Marcus Smart, it would be Horford. And as crazy as it sounds, bro. Time Lord's Robert Williams' injury history is just it's too shaky. Like Al Horford at 39 is like he's still more reliable than Rob will. So
good product right here. Right. There's con artists over there in Boston.
They did, yeah.
They trading anybody who's getting hurt, they trading that player out of there.
But to see, the thing is, the players are playing hurt. Yeah. And it's hurting their value. Isaiah Thomas played injured with that labrum in his hip. He was never the same. No. Robert Williams tried to come back early on that knee. He's never been the same. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they had to go back in the knee again. Yeah, man, listen, you're athlete, right? You understand. We get hurt. If we can play, we were taught, if you can give 25%, 50%, that's better than his 100%. Yes. So we go out there 25, 50% to help the team, not really hurt ourselves.
I think it's unfortunate, but in the moment, it becomes like a mutual agreement because of these deep playoff runs that these teams are going on. Because I think if the expectation for the Celtics was a second round exit, I don't think they would push an Isaiah Thomas to the brink. I don't think they would push a Marcus Smart to the brink, a Robert Williams to the brink. But when there's championship expectations at the line and there's a path there, it's kind of like, all right, we don't know if we're going to be back here. Because I say that all the time, too, this idea of, hey, man, if they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals this year under 25, they can be back in a couple years. No, that's not always the case. That's not always the case. And if anything, that's such a complacent view as to how volatile the NBA is, bro. Said the same thing about the 2012 Thunder. Oh, they're going to be back. They're so young. They already made it this young. They have to be back. Nope. Never got back. So
the person that we're guarding is coming 100%. He don't give no crap about our 50%. Nope. And we end up hurting ourselves because we're trying to stick somebody that's coming 100 when we're at 50. And that instead of just getting healthy and then going out there giving 100%, we feel that we can still play this game being half the person we are. Because the thing is, Gil, we might help the team, but we hurt us. Yes. Because that's what happened. IT playing, it helped the Celtics, but it hurt his value. He didn't get that $100 million contract that he was supposed to get because the guy wasn't an all-NBA player, an all-star player. Yeah. But after that injury, he was never the same player. The same thing with Robert Williams. Unfortunately, I don't know.
You think we'll have time for all-star team-up later?
What could have been?
We might, bro. I don't know. I told my girl I can't be streaming all fucking day. I don't think I can stream all day too, but bro, I listen, we gotta catch up, man. Like me and you, like we got some catching up to do. I wanna know what turns you on, you know, so I can be all that and more. Yeah. Now let me chill.
And that's what we look back now and say, what could have been?